Welcome to It's Not God's Fault. Hi, I'm Yoli. In this Red Flag series, we've talked about the warning signs, the ones we see and the ones we choose to ignore. And today I'm going to be honest about a moment I'm not very proud of. The moment I ran back to the person who had already hurt me because at the time he felt safer than being alone. Story time. So after Preacher and I had broke up and he moved back in with his parents and I had my own apartment, I was promoted as manager of a dry cleaners. And I would open at 6:30 in the morning and close at 6:30 at night. So I would go pick my son up and then I would bathe him, feed him. Well, I would feed him, then bathe him and put him to bed. I mean, I just had felt like an hour maybe that I could spend with my son every evening. And then once he went to bed, because he was tired, he didn't want to stay up. He had a busy day at daycare. And then I'd be alone. I was miserable. I was so lonely. I hated it. I hated being alone. And one night after I'd put him to bed, I had a knock on my back door. Well, my back door was completely glass. Like you could see, and I didn't have a curtain on it, and I could see out, obviously. And there was an older gentleman, probably in his 40s, older compared to me at the time. I was only 21, going on 21. And he was knocking on the door, and he kept demanding that I let him in. And I was shaking my head, no, I don't know you. You're not coming in. So he threatened to break the glass if I didn't let him in. Well, obviously that scared me. So I called the police, and he left. And the police asked me if I had anywhere I could go for the evening, just, to be safe, just to be on the safe side. And first place I thought of was Preacher's house because they were in the same town. So I went over to their house and his mom came to the door. She was always so sweet. She'd always been very accepting of my son. She treated him as her own grandson. And I had told her what happened, and she, invited me in, and she explained to me that he wasn't home, but that I could stay there, and if I needed to, I could sleep in his room. And not too much longer, she went to another room and made a phone call, and I think she called him because he came back 30 minutes later. As soon as he walked in, he commented on how great I looked, and I explained to him I'd been to the tanning bed. He didn't ask me, hey, how are you? No, it was, oh, you look great. But I welcomed the flatteries. I asked him where he had been, and he told me where he had been. He'd been out on a date with an old friend of his, and it kind of made my stomach drop because I was a little bit jealous, but I didn't say anything to him about it because I had been on dates, as you had heard in one of the other episodes. Then I told him about the break-in and everything, and I was explaining to him how scared I was. But he didn't say anything. He just sat there. He sat there with his hand on his chin, staring out a window. Almost like, ooh, I have her right where I want her. Now that I'm looking back on it, that's what it looks like to me. And then I told him, I'm moving. And immediately, before I could explain where I thought I was going, he started attacking the idea of me moving because he just automatically assumed I was going to move in with my parents. Yes, I was planning to move back in with my parents, but I wasn't going to let him know that because I didn't want him to be right. So I told him, I'm moving to Oklahoma. He said, let me go with you, whispering in my ear, so close I could feel his hot breath on my shoulder. And I looked at him with a strange look on my face, and he said it again. Take me with you. I asked him, well, what about Bridget? And he said, I don't even care about her. She's not my type. I don't like the way she just thinks about her hair all the time. And in that moment, I felt like he was choosing me over her, and that felt pretty darn good. What I didn't know was that she was pregnant. I would not find out for over a year later, after we had been married for nearly a year. He was looking for a getaway driver, and I just offered him the car. By this point, I knew better. I had seen him and heard about him with the gun. I had seen his temper. I had already left him once, so why was I going back? Because fear hijacks logic. When we're in a state of high adrenaline, like I was when that man showed up at my apartment pounding on the glass, our thinking brain, the part that remembers the red flag, goes offline. We enter in a trauma bond. Our brain stops asking, is this healthy? And starts asking, what will make the fear stop right now? I went back because loneliness felt like a slower death than his abuse. I went back because I had been in chaos for so long, the familiar fire felt warmer than the cold, lonely place. Most people don't relapse when things are calm. We usually go back when we're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. HALT, halt. Hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. And I was all four. If you're listening to this and you feel the urge to call that person, the one who hurts you, the one you think understands you, I want you to pause. Ask yourself, am I running to them because they're safe, or am I running to them because they are familiar and I'm tired and I don't want to be alone? That night at Preacher's house, it wasn't about love, it was about survival. I chose what was familiar over what was healthy. We ignore red flags because hope is seductive, like that whisper in my ear, take me with you. We want the comfort more than the truth, but truth is the only thing that can actually set us free. In our next episode, we're going to talk about how he treated his mom and why that was the ultimate mirror of my future, but I didn't see it. This is Yoli, and this was not God's fault. Take care of your heart, and I'll talk to you next time.